Week of the month is the toughest, but that calls for you to be strategic. This week, my shopping was very limited. Why? Because I planned ahead to make sure that when I'm broke, the pantry is sufficiently packed to cater for the new week. Let's go through a few things that we restocked this month. This packet of milk, for some reason, we now love Naivas milk. I'll put the prices down there. Then we have Harpic toilet cleaner. I love the way they are sealing here so that it does not pour on foodstuffs. For cleaning and so many things in the house, we use bicarbonate of soda. So I restocked it in plenty. Then, of course, tropical heat to cater for paprika. Anyone who has been an OG of this channel knows I love paprika. Another favorite product is maize. The ugali that comes from this flour is out of this world. Let me know if you're an maize person and your experience, because for me, I love it. So we got two. For some reason, we are eating too much because even last week we had restocked, yeah? And then sufficient, just an air freshener for the washroom and a soda. These are the only items I've restocked this week. Can you imagine? Just because I decided to be strategic and make sure I have sufficient stock for the last week of the month. Allow me to share a few tips of how I try and make sure I keep up with my budget and make sure that I survive throughout the month. First, take stock of what you have in the pantry and make sure that there are no leftovers. As you've seen, we have very minimal leftovers in the house, so we are maximizing on everything. Tip number 2, if you have any leftovers, make sure you have a day allocated to ensuring that you eat the leftovers. That makes sure that you're not wasting. Try to shop from wholesale shops, especially if you have a big family. As for me, we are lean a number of people, so sometimes I feel like if I do wholesale, I may just stock up a lot of stuff for nothing because we rarely go past like 5 packets of flour. The biggest saver for me has always been making supper that is sufficient for our dinner and the next day's lunch. That saves a lot. It saves on time, the gas you're using or electricity, and it also leaves time for you to do other things. I also check on the prices and just compare like store stuff as compared to the branded ones, and if possible I choose the most affordable because why not? They serve the same purpose. Sometimes you're only buying the branding if you're getting to pay more for the same product. For instance, if you have a big family, I would suggest you take the maize to the grill and get it milled. Sorry, not to the grill, but to the mill and get it milled. Makes your work easier and you get to actually enjoy fresh flour. Let me know in the comment section, how do you ensure you're able to survive throughout the month without finding yourself at some point borrowing for consumables? The other major consideration I have put in place is having a budget for each week. For me, I find it easier to do weekly budget as compared to daily because we shop everything over the weekend. During the week, it's just enjoying whatever we have. I find it more convenient, easy, and less headache. Because sometimes, imagine you're called in the middle of a meeting that something has run out, or you find yourself having to stop by the store. Sometimes you're just tired and you don't want to stop by the store. You just want to get home, but for some reason, there's something which has run out. how do you manage your budget? Although what I've noted, and you'll note from the beginning of this video, I do shopping that lasts us 2 weeks, so that's even better for me because it saves me the trip to the market. It saves us the time to start strategizing. And the other thing that works for us is we have a menu, but sometimes if we don't have the ingredients on the menu, we make do with the ingredients that we have in the house without worrying about the menu. Sometimes you may have a working menu in most cases, depending on how you shop, but when you don't have the ingredients, you're not forced to stick to that menu whilst you have to go to the shop, instead of just utilizing what you already have in the pantry and your fridge. Let me know in the comment section, do you have a menu? Does it work? Or do you always find yourself coming up with what to cook every single day? I'd love to know. The other thing is keeping track of your groceries and your expenses so that you try and live within your means. One thing that most people are struggling with is living within their means, and if you keep up and you track your grocery budget, every coin, you will be able to understand where your money goes, and you'll also be able to understand how to plan ahead without having too much headache. Imagine the last week of the month and you're struggling to put food on the table, whilst from the beginning of the month you had enough funds that could cater for the month. Yeah, so let's be very conscious about our spending so that at least you're able to sustain yourself for the whole month. As you have seen in this video, I decided to cook as we shared this chart of how to really manage the budget, especially the last week of the month. So for this recipe, I just decided to try some stuff I see on YouTube, and I had made this osumbuko in the previous video, and I decided to leave some to try and fry with potatoes, and I must say it was the first time trying it out and it turned out amazing. How often do you try recipes? Because sometimes I find myself just exploring new recipes, just changing from the normal, from how my mom was cooking. I find myself being totally different. Of course, I love cooking, so that's why I always try to discover new recipes. I would love to know whether you're enjoying this better systems series, and any episodes that you would want us to share, any approaches, and in case you have missed our previous videos, you can consider checking them out. I'm sure one way or the other they could be helpful. Here we are all about simplicity and surviving within your budget. And of course, thank you for watching. If you're new, kindly consider subscribing. If you're returning, thank you so much for always coming back to watch our videos. Before I sign out, my name is Jacie and I love minimalism and frugal living.